feels to chew 5 gum. New 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
You know I toasted Shinnok, right?
Shinnok schemed because he was worthless in the past. Worthless.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath is honestly not as bad as I expected it to be. But to be honest, that's not a testament to how good the story is, because I honestly wasn't expecting that much to begin with. Basically what I expected was -5, but what we got was a 1. This story is filled with plot holes, but to be fair, I will also talk about the good stuff because there are some good stuff in this story that I actually was surprised by. Like Shang Tsung's redemption, Shao Kahn being awesome, Sindel and Shao Kahn's relationship just works perfectly to me, and the fact that the bad guys actually get to win this time around, or at least somewhat get to win this time around in the story, is something very new to NRS stories. So I'm very excited about that, and I think that's a good thing, which I will talk about, but that doesn't save the story from the ridiculous shit that doesn't make sense. Which, listen, I know Mortal Kombat doesn't make sense to begin with, but I expect it to be consistent, especially if they are gonna play around with time travel. Because here's the thing, time travel doesn't make sense, it's literally impossible, and if you wanna include it in a story, you are gonna have to break a lot of laws of physics. So I accept that, I accept that time travel doesn't make sense, but I expect it to at least be consistent, and in Mortal Kombat 11, time travel is just fucked, and it fucked the entire story. There are no stakes, there are no threats, you really don't feel anything anymore because they don't establish anything and they're not consistent with anything in terms of time travel. Remember when Sonya shoots young Kano in the eye and then old Kano just dies and disappears? At first that makes sense, right? Because if young Kano dies, then obviously old Kano will die. But it doesn't, because it creates a giant paradox. When Sonya shoots young Kano in the eye, that means Kano never grows old. And if he never grows old, he never fixes Sector. And if he never fixes Sector, they never go to attack the Special Forces. And if they don't go to attack the Special Forces, they never kidnapped Sonya. And if they don't kidnap Sonya, then young Kano doesn't get shot in the eye. And if young Kano doesn't get shot in the eye, then old Kano doesn't die. And if old Kano doesn't die, then he fixes Sector. And if he fixes Sector, he goes to the Special Forces. And if he goes to the Special Forces, he kidnaps Sonya. And then he gets shot in the eye. And it basically creates this paradox where if Sonya kills young Kano, then she never gets kidnapped in order to be in a position to kill young Kano. And it's actually even worse in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, because young Liu Kang gets his leg smashed by Shao Kahn, which is awesome, but Revenant Liu Kang also suffers from that, like it just happened right now, when Revenant Liu Kang is actually 25 years older than young Liu Kang. Basically what they're saying is Liu Kang, let's say his age is 25 right now, got his leg smashed by Shao Kahn, then for 25 years his legs remained smashed. Even though he died, even though he got turned into a revenant, his legs remained smashed in the same spot, and it never healed. Nothing happened to it. It just remained smashed after he turned into a revenant. That's what they want you to believe. But even if I believe that, like, okay, I'll believe your bullshit. Liu Kang at 25 got his legs smashed, and then at 50 his legs remained smashed in the same spot. The bones remained popped out of his legs for some reason. He never fixed them. Whoever turned him into a revenant never fixed his legs. Let's say you believe that. What about Fire God Liu Kang? Young Liu Kang got his legs smashed, which caused Revenant Liu Kang to get his legs smashed, and Raiden got his soul sucked. So literally all three of them got fucked. Yet Fire God Liu Kang remains fine. Nothing happened to him. By the rules that the story set up, it doesn't make sense. They are inconsistent by the rules that they've set up. Something they've established just 5 minutes ago, they either go back on or they just forget completely. And also what's even funnier is the Revenant's whole plot. In Mortal Kombat 11, before Math, they say that they can't kill Kung Lao and Liu Kang because if they do, it will kill the Revenant selves. But if you think about it, the Revenant selves are them dead. Therefore, if they kill them, they will still turn into Revenants, because what is Revenant Liu Kang? He is dead Liu Kang. So if you kill Liu Kang, he still turns into a Revenant. You've changed nothing. Yet they legitimately treat that as a reason why they can't kill Revenant Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
It's dangerous to let them live.
If they die, their revenant selves will cease to exist.
Liar!
And they carry it into this game as well. The whole reason they don't kill Nightwolf in this game is because if they do, his Revenant will disappear. But the Revenant only exists because Nightwolf died. They seem to imply that they have to die at a specific point in order for Quan Chi to revive them like he did in the original timeline, otherwise they wouldn't turn into Revenants. But that's also not true because Kung Lao died in the arena and Liu Kang died at the rooftop. But when Chronica merged the timelines, Kung Lao didn't die at the Colosseum and Liu Kang didn't die at the rooftop, yet they still turned into Revenants. That means it doesn't matter if you change when they died, they still turn into Revenants. That means they always die in order to turn into Revenants. Otherwise, how are they Revenants if they don't die at some point? Why does it matter when they die, as long as they're dead? This whole time travel thing is just fucking ridiculous. And again, my problem is not with time travel not making sense, it's the fact that they are very inconsistent with it. Honestly, what's even worse than their time travel inconsistencies is the fact that Chronica sent Shang Tsung to the void and sent Fujin to the void and sent Nightwolf to the void, which they say is this inescapable place, yet she didn't think to send Raiden there or send Liu Kang there or any of the heroes that could stop her. She didn't send anybody to the void except for two useless characters and the villain. I bet you they thought they were clever by introducing this void thing, but honestly, it fucks the story more than it already was fucked. Another thing that really bothered me throughout the story was, who the fuck are these characters? Obviously it's Fujin, Nightwolf and Shang Tsung, right? But which versions of Fujin, Nightwolf and Shang Tsung? Is this future Fujin or past Fujin? Is this future Shang Tsung or past Shang Tsung? Now this is obviously past Nightwolf, but who the fuck are these two? We never learn if this is old Shang Tsung or young Shang Tsung, and it's hard to tell because Shang Tsung can basically transform into his old self or young self based on how many souls he's got. We are just supposed to accept that this is a version of Shang Tsung. They don't tell us which one, just a version of Shang Tsung that knows that Sindel killed all the heroes and that knows that Sindel is powerful, yet he is not inside her somehow. Honestly, the most offensive thing I found about this story is that Chronica is literally the dumbest villain in the entire story. They give her a shit ton of power, like she's supposed to be the most powerful character of all time. She's more powerful than the Elder Gods, she's more powerful than Raiden, she's more powerful than anybody. She creates people, she's like created this fixed point in time who doesn't die. She controls time, she controls everything, but she never ever actually fights herself until it's too late. Like, just think about it. There's this important item that she really needs to restart time, which is this crown that is at Shang Tsung's island, and she thinks it's at risk, but she never goes herself to actually retrieve it. She just sends her daughter. This important item, the most crucial part of her plan, without it her plan doesn't succeed or can't succeed, is at risk, and she doesn't go and get it herself. It's just so fucking stupid. Another thing which I found really fucking dumb is later on she goes and meets the heroes and she freezes Scorpion, Liu Kang and Sub-Zero and some other characters in time, but she doesn't freeze Raiden, Shang Tsung and Fujin in time. Now I assumed she can't freeze them because they have like some sort of power that she can't override or control, but later she actually does use her powers to freeze Raiden in time. It implies that she could have freeze them in time this whole time. She could have freeze them in time, but instead she decided to monologue to them. Why didn't she just teleport over there, freeze all of them, take the crown and then teleport back to the hourglass? Wouldn't that be much simpler? These are basically my biggest gripes with the story, like the things I really hated about the story and the things that didn't make sense. Obviously the biggest offender is the time travel, then the void, and then the whole like Revenant thing not making sense. There are also little things, I wouldn't call them nitpicks, but like little things that don't affect me that much, but they still don't make sense. Like characters fight when it doesn't make sense to fight, and they have a regular conversation when they should fight. Or the funniest one, when Shiva actually goes to fight Kotal Khan after he got his back broken. Like, this guy is fighting after he got his back broken. Whatever. However, there are some good stuff, like Sindel and Shao Kahn. This duo is the best duo. They actually kick the good guy's ass. For the first time in an NRS game, we get to see the bad guys actually beating the hell out of the good guys. Sindel in this game honestly is pretty fucking good. People were very angry about her retcon, but honestly, I fucking love it. I hated it at first, but now I love it. After this story, I fucking love her retcon because her retcon actually keeps her old personality. She was very selfish, but now she actually has agency. Instead of killing herself, she actually took action and changed her life. So I'm personally very happy with Sindel's retcon.
do?
Shang Tsung was very awesome in this game. He felt like how Shang Tsung should feel. He was always scheming, and in the end he actually had a very good plan, which is why I was like really happy about this story. Shang Tsung was redeemed in my honest opinion. Karitagawa is fucking awesome. This guy is a legend. At the end of the story, you felt like Shang Tsung was actually a big threat. I expected Shiva to be Frost 2.0, because let's be honest, Shiva was boring before. She always was boring, she never had a good story. But in this game they made her very interesting, honestly, at least to me. It's still unbelievable that she could defeat Kentaro and become the queen of the Shokan, but her new personality is very likable. It's so likable that I'm willing to accept that she actually did defeat Kentaro and she did become the queen of the Shokan, just because I want to see more of her. I'm honestly surprised because of all the characters, I never expected to actually like Shiva. It just goes to show that if they don't go with this cookie cutter version of Mortal Kombat where the heroes always win and the villains always lose, they could create some interesting stories. It's just too bad that they already fucked the story with Mortal Kombat 11. Like, this time travel thing really fucked Mortal Kombat. The thing that really saves Mortal Kombat Aftermath for me is the last two chapters. They were just awesome.
Worthless.